What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Happy Friday, everybody. Okay, so we got some breaking news worldwide. This is just as big or as impactful as David Grush coming out, Jaime Maussan showing the Nazca beings at the Mexican hearing, because whether you like it or not, that was very impactful. That made the world news. And in my opinion, what just happened today should also be part of world news because Mr. Maussan has been trying to do something like this ever since he started covering this post 2017, specifically and especially the Nazca desiccated beings, the Tridactyls. Although he used a different hook to do what he did, this also served for the Nazca Tridactyls to take an even more center stage in the entire disclosure movement, you could say. And I've already told you that I don't know what these beings are. I don't even know if they should be considered part of the disclosure effort because they may well be some species that was already here that is our descendant or our relative in some type, and they just have tridactyl hands and feet. That could be just it. But in my opinion, we're talking about a crypto-terrestrial race if these are real. So Maussan has been covering a case from Colombia called the Buga Sphere. They allegedly found fiber optics inside this object. It allegedly emits some type of radiation. There's a lot of people that have been to Mexico City to see it in person. I know that Jesse Michaels saw it in person, for example. And now we have new people seeing it in person. And I'm just going to show you this. I got the first hint yesterday. I've had Mr. Timothy Alberino on the show. And if you guys have seen that episode of Psicoactivo, you will know that Mr. Alberino has different sets of beliefs compared to other researchers in the topic because Mr. Alberino believes that extraterrestrial beings are a thing, that the alien abduction phenomenon is part of that, but he also has a very religious standpoint, and he believes that stuff from the Bible is real and angels and demons are real. He believes that. He's a Christian. He's very religious. And he just made this tweet. And I'm just going to read it to you guys. I'm headed to Mexico City to examine the Buga Sphere and another hitherto undisclosed alien mummy, quote unquote. I'm very skeptical about all of the claims of alien artifacts in Central and South America. The alien antiquities black market is surging. Doubt is the best default in this environment. And he's correct. And I got to tell you guys, I mean, I do not agree with Mr. Alberino in a lot of things that have to do with philosophical beliefs. And I'm not a religious person myself, but I can find a place where I can respect him and where we can differ in opinion and still get along. And I like him. He's a really respectful gentleman. And I do think that it doesn't really matter what he believes. It matters that he is bringing attention to cases like the Nazca beings. And he's one of the most loud people when it comes to saying that the M types are real. He is completely convinced that they are real because he's had them in front of him. He's been looking at this case for a few years now. And he's one of the people with the most reach that is taking these seriously. Him, Jesse Michaels, too. I know that other people who are very known in the UFO community are asking about them now. Joe Rogan has been saying a bunch of new stuff about the mummies, giving the larger bodies credence to the case. He believes they are real too. So the case is gaining more traction. And something that really called my attention is that Alberino, when we were talking about the beings, he said that he wanted to bring a congressperson to see the bodies. He wanted to take them to Peru. He wasn't able to do that yet, but he managed to do this. Check it out.
It will change very important figures from the US Congress. Very important people are going to come. They are flying right now, and they are going to come. They are going to be, don't know if they're going to talk or not, but they're going to see it. They're going to have the information. And I hope this escalates, because what's missing now? Can antennas be used? Communicate with them? Look, with the same frequency, sphere has optical. Can be used. You can try to levitate the sphere so that it flies again, and at the best recharge and it flies away, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, so here it is. And he brought a few more guests. I'll just show you here.
Us understand advanced technology from an unknown origin. We'd like to thank each of you,
That is Jaime Maussan's son, Sebastian.
and I'd like to welcome each of our guests, like Congressman Eric Burlison, who's a representative of the state
Yeah, you heard that correctly. Eric Burlison is there.
of Missouri from the United States. Thank you, Congressman Burlison, for being here.
So, Burlison, Sheehan, Daniel Sheehan, the lawyer, Dr. Stephen Greer, and Tim Alberino are there. Maussan is right here to the right, sitting next to them. But the big person, the big man right there, Eric Burlison, is there.
I would also like to thank Dr. Stephen Greer. He's founder of the SETI Institute for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. I would also like to welcome Daniel Sheehan, a world-known lawyer, a constitutional lawyer. He's a political activist and an educator. Welcome, Daniel. Likewise, we would also like to welcome our Italian investor. Thank you, Congressman Burlison, for being here.
So that happened. Yes, Representative Eric Burlison visited Mexico City to see the Buga Sphere, and obviously he took some time also to take a look at the Tridactyls closer. And what does this mean for the case? It means that an American congressman from the Republican Party decided to take a look at the mummies. And as a result, it is only going to bring way more attention than they already have. He's also looking at the sphere, though. I'm still on the fence about the sphere. I'm being honest with you. I've seen a couple of people that I really, really respect that did a thorough analysis on it. And I am inclined to trust what they say, and they claim that there's a possibility that the sphere is not real. I haven't seen it in person, so that's why I remain on the fence. If I ever go see it in person, I will let you guys know, but I tend to not really touch on many cases that Mr. Maussan touches. If you know, you know. I do touch on the mummies, but I try to do it my own way and in my lane, because I just don't want the whole hassle of dealing with the whole environment that surrounds Mr. Maussan. If I'm being honest with you, I respect the man, but he's surrounded by a machinery that I just don't want to deal with. That's just me. So if I ever try to look at some of these spheres, because it's not the only one, there are multiple around the world. It's not just metallic spheres. There are spheres of stone that also emit radiation, and they're made of really strange materials and alloys. So I have options to look at other spheres besides this one, and I would prefer doing that instead of getting involved with that machinery. I'm sorry, I'm just being transparent here. I don't want to get involved in that. So I do report on this because I already kind of knew that Representative Burlison was probably going to go to Mexico City to take a look at this. because of this. And I'm just going to show you guys. Timothy Alberino had both Representative Burlison and Representative Tim Burchett on his show last year, and they spoke about different things. This is just a clip from what they talked about, and just so you hear the type of ideas that they're throwing around.
If they indeed are non-human, then I truly am gonna try to be scientific in my thinking about this, to try to be open to the possibilities. So I think that if it is indeed a non-human that is created and navigating these objects that we're seeing, then I think that there's a few plausible explanations. One is that they're traveling here real time from a nearby planet or even within our own solar system that we haven't encountered. That's one possibility. I think I believe that's probably the least likely. Two, I think that it could be very ancient, and that what we are experiencing is that we've had ancient, at some point in the past, and when you take, the reason why I say this, Tim, is that if you take a window of time and you expand it to thousands, if not tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of years, the likelihood of something having visited here is improved, right? And so that, to me, is more plausible, that you have something that maybe didn't visit here real time, but we have uncovered that material through archaeological find and then reverse engineer that. And then the other is, I'm gonna get a little bit more ethereal, if you will, is that there is no such thing as really space-time, that we're talking about a species or a race that can traverse space-time with in such a way that they're not truly traveling here. And that would be a completely advanced race, almost to the akin of what I would call spiritual, like angels, or a phenomenon that we once described as angels, or some people would still describe as angels. And then the other one is, the other possibility is that this is a future race of us that has developed advanced technology to time travel. And if you think about it, if future generations can try to travel back and then observe, or just watch, or sightsee a previous human race or human civilizations, that's another explanation that I'm willing to explore.
And this is one of the reasons why I like the approach that Eric Burlison is giving to this. And also, although I don't agree with Tim on the more biblical side of things, because he seems completely convinced on many of those things, I do like that he also remains open to the idea that ETs could be real. He's not so hot on the interdimensional stuff. I don't really know what interdimensional would mean, honestly. It sounds like an easy, rolls out of the tongue easily. But if you really think about it, that's a science fiction term. It's not really based on reality kind of term, because it's really hard to explain. The scientists who have been dealing with string theory, that hypothesis has remained stuck for decades now, because they really can't go anywhere with it. So I like that Representative Burlison is remaining open to all the possibilities. And that's what I would ask people who would go straight to, these are angels, these are demons, I'm convinced. We don't know. And that is something that I think we need to keep repeating to the people that keep claiming, I know what's going on, this is going on, and nothing else is possible. That's dumb. You can't say that, because we really don't know. If there is a handful of people right now alive that kind of know even half of the picture that's going on, I would be really surprised. I think that most of the people that knew what was going on are gone. And if they left some kind of material or historical record, that is in the possession of this handful of people that may know what's going on. And even to that, I take it with a grain of salt because it's really hard to make out. But you guys saw Burlison was in Mexico City. He was there for the conference. Jaime announced the press conference a few days ago. I guess that the announcement came when he knew that Burlison was going to be there alongside Alberino. And I just want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about Representative Burlison being part of this press conference made by Jaime? What do you think about the Buga Sphere? Do you think it's real? I know that I haven't covered it really. I already told you my reasons, but I'd like to know your opinion. If you have looked at it, what makes you convinced that it's real? Let me know in the comments. And what do you think about Tim Alberino's ideas that are biblical and very versatile too, because he's open to a lot of things? And also, what do you think about Eric Burlison remaining open to so many possibilities? Do you applaud that? Do you not? Let me know in the comments. This should be headlines everywhere in the world because an American congressman was just at a Jaime Maussan press conference looking at the Buga Sphere and the Nazca Tridactyl beings for the first time ever. That, I think, is progress, regardless of whoever's political ideas, religious ideas, or bias. We shouldn't pay too much attention to that unless it affects the population, obviously. But let me know. If you like the content you see, I'm going to ask you to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That only costs you a few seconds, and it's free. And it is what helps us the most. Thank you. But if you want to support us in any other way, I'm going to leave a few links down there. Take your pick. You can also become a member, or you can also support us through KGRA. Anything you choose to do is always appreciated, so thank you. And that's it for me today on this video, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, stay curious and inquisitive, like Tim and Eric, always. Bye.